Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to hook up your car stereo that you've bought. Um, this is good information if you have an older car and the wires are not there, or if the wires are all different colors. Most of the times you can buy an aftermarket radio and all the colors match up on the wiring harness and you can just plug it in and go. But sometimes the colors aren't the same and you have to figure out what to do. If you're starting off from scratch, the first thing you're going to need to know is how to run your power to your radio. So, if you're starting off with scratch, you're going to need to know that. This is the clip that plugs into the back of the radio that you bought. And on that clip there's a red wire. Now the red wire is usually your positive. Actually the red wire is always your positive. Now that wire only works when your key's on. So there's only power going to this wire. That's what you'll want to hook it up to when you turn your key on. So if there's already a radio there, there'll be a red wire there, and that one only gets powered up. Now you also need a wire that's got power going to it because you need all your presets and your time to be remembered. So that's what this yellow wire is always for. This one hooks up to 12 volts. You can hook that right to the battery, is what some people do when they can't find anything. I like to go off the cigarette lighter. Usually that's got power to it. Also, the black wire is your ground wire. It comes with a doodad on it, so that way you could just zip it up to anything metal in your dashboard, or if you want you can cut it and find a good ground and solder it into there like that. And the rest of these wires are for your speakers. If you're running a amplifier, that amplifier needs to know when to turn on too. And that's what this blue and white wire is for. It actually says amplifier on it, so that's a different story. You don't have to worry about that. And this is your antenna for your remote. So usually your stereo that you bought will come with an instruction manual on which wire goes to which speaker, and usually that's what you would go by. If you bought the radio used and you don't know which one goes where because you didn't get an owner's manual, what you can do is you can get the radio hooked up with your ground and your two positives, and it'll light up in your dashboard. And you could put a CD in and set everything to your front left speaker. As you can see, there's two purple wires. There's a purple and black, and there's a purple. Purple is going to be the positive, and the purple and black is going to be the negative. So, if you hook the purple and black up to a speaker and there's nothing, you're going to want to try to use your two greens. And if there's nothing there, you're going to want to use your two grays. And if your grays work, those will be your front left. And then you just go through that process of elimination until you find out which wire runs which speaker, and then you solder those in. And when you're all done, you're just going to snap it in. Now, in the back of your radios, there's already a 10 amp fuse there. But what I like to do, just for a little bit more protection, so you can buy these at Walmart. It's just a fuse link that you can solder in between your positive and wherever you're powering up from. It's just a good idea. I got a 15 in there. You can usually go with a 10. And that's my suggestions. So now, because I am installing this radio into a mobile trailer, there's always power on, so I don't ever have to worry about having a key off kind of situation where it has to remember things. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to solder this red and yellow wire together, and then when I get them together I'll solder them to the lead of this and shrink wrap it all together and make it all look good again. Make it pretty. And then I'll go through the 15 amp. That should be able to handle that, no problem. And then I'll just hook it up to the trailer's 12 volt battery system, and ground this out. Alright, so now I have my two power wires that plug into the back of my stereo soldered together and shrink wrapped. Nice clean job there. And it goes into my 15 amp little GM fuse and to wherever I decide to power it up into the trailer. Now for the trailer, inside the trailer, I'm only running front speakers, if you know what I mean. I'm only running 2 speakers in the trailer because, well, you don't need it to be too loud. The 2 wires that I'm running for this, for the inside, is these 2 white wires and these 2 gray wires. Now all I have to do is solder these 2 white wires to the other 2 white wires and these 2 gray wires to the other gray wires because I don't have too far to go. These are the speakers that I'm putting into the trailer, and they're going right next to the head unit, so that'll be no problem at all. Alright, so now we have our red and yellow wire going into our orange wire. It's been soldered, shrink tubed, and electrical tape. I electrical tape everything after I shrink tube it because we do live in Canada and moisture does get into things. I've now shrink wrapped soldered, shrink wrapped, and electrical taped the front left speaker wire and the front right speaker wire. And they go over to these ends. These wires that I soldered to the clip come with the speakers. So that was bonus that the wire colorings just matched. So now I know where everything goes. These are the speakers that we're putting into the trailer. And very simply, all you have to do is grab your connectors and they just slide on. Perfect. There you go. They slide on like that. Probably sit down at the bottom. Those will sit in the wall. There's where the head unit will sit. Should be no problems at all. It's all soldered together, so it's a good connection. And I've electrical taped both the wires together just to keep it all cleaned up too. The rest of these wires, because what we want to do is have it so that way we could have some speakers that go outside, is because it's a mobile trailer, you can't just have them outside all the time. I'm going to go get some trailer hitch connectors, just the cheap ones, just for the trailer lights. The trailer light connectors. And I'm going to solder them onto these rest of these speaker wire leads. So whenever I want the speakers, I'll unroll the speakers and plug them into the trailer lights. So they'll just have trailer light connectors on. We could just connect them to the head unit. Roll them outside. It'll be a good setup. Yeah.